Good afternoon. On the occasion of the Academy's 176th year, we welcome those members of the graduating class, their family and their friends, and those who are so much a part of this community, trustees, alumni, friends, neighbors. As has been the custom in years past, would you now join me in the school prayer, rising to do so? The Academy prayer may be found in your commencement program, and upon completion of that prayer, we will sing together our first hymn, O God Our Help, in Ages Past. Please do join with me in the prayer. O God, by whose manifold grace all things work together for good to them that love thee, establish, we pray thee, the thing that thou hast wrought in us, and make this school as a field that the Lord hath blessed, that whatsoever things are true, pure, lovely, and of good report, may here forever flourish and abound. Preserve in it an unblemished name. Enlarge it with a wider usefulness, and exalt it in the love and reverence of all its members as an instrument of thy glory. Amen. Please be seated. Speaking on behalf of the senior class and at their request is Alan Chung. Alan came to us from his hometown in Princeton, New Jersey, some years ago. He graduates today confident, successful, and a much-liked young man. Next fall, Alan will take his talents to Palo Alto, California, where he will enter into the freshman class at Stanford. Alan.
Thank you, Dr. Flanagan. Good afternoon to all the members of the faculty and staff, students, parents, and grandparents, and other guests. It is a great honor and privilege to address all of you on this beautiful and memorable Sunday afternoon, and I would like to thank my fellow students for choosing me to represent the class of 2002. But where shall I begin? It is hardly fitting that all of our years here at Western Reserve Academy be compressed into one short speech. Nevertheless, I stand here before you today attempting to capture at least one perspective on the Reserve experience. What exactly is this Reserve experience? In my view, it is a term that everyone uses, but whose meaning few people understand. The admissions committee would like new students to believe that it is a process of growing and maturing, during which students fully develop their academic, athletic, and artistic skills in a close, tight-knit community, which will, incidentally, help them get into the most prestigious colleges in the nation. Reflecting back on my life here, they were probably right, but the Reserve experience is far more complex. In the end, all of us in the graduating class have been shaped by Reserve's fine academic, athletic, and art programs, and its commitment to a set of fundamental values. Does this sound familiar? It should. I copied it from the school's website. But such a simple sentence is illusory and deceiving. What is this vaunted Reserve experience? Take a young high school student and put him in a small private boarding school setting in a Midwestern suburb of Northeast Ohio. Add to that a comprehensive academic education alongside rigorous schooling in athletics and the arts. For best results, mix thoroughly in a pool of talented peers and teachers. Rinse, cycle, and repeat. The finished product is a healthy, mature, well-rounded, and well-mannered individual, capable of making intelligent decisions, grounded in the liberal arts. If only it were that easy. The truth is, the Reserve experience cannot be summed up in a paragraph because it is a combination of all our actions and accomplishments here. We are here today because we have faced and overcome numerous challenges and difficulties. The Reserve experience comprises a long and arduous journey and has not been smooth and has not been as predictable or automatic as a laundry machine. A product of grit, determination, and more importantly, our actions. The experience is indescribable. Nevertheless, I will try. The only way to convey it would be for me to walk you through a typical Reserve student's day. 7 a.m., wake up and go to breakfast. Classes until the afternoon with a short break for sit-down lunch, then athletics practice, that is, 2 hours of grueling physical exercise, next a quick shower and then dress up again for sit-down dinner. Head off next to a number of evening activities, Reserve record, yearbook, drama, dance practice. The day ends at 9 p.m. A typical Reserve student receives 4 hours of homework per day. Accessorize this schedule with a variety of options: free periods, assemblies, concerts, sporting events, and field trips, dining hall spar, and dean's clubs. Whether you chose one talent and developed it thoroughly, or like me, chose to participate in a variety of activities and sports, Reserve offered a unique experience which would challenge our minds and bodies. But lest I leave you with the impression that school was all work and no fun, let me continue to describe another facet of the experience. Going to Reserve introduced us to a unique and idiosyncratic culture. We had to learn a new language, not just new terms like the rap, but a new form of English, omitting the word like and properly using myself. New fashion styles, like dark green blazers. I have more collared dress shirts in my wardrobe than I will ever need for the next 4 years of my life. And new tastes in food. The dining hall quickly introduced us to its unique and interesting cuisine. With such a close, tight-knit community, it is almost overwhelming, as if everything revolves around Reserve. Several weeks ago, over a game of euchre, my friends were astounded to discover that WRA carries its own brand of playing cards. Since then, I have learned that the bookstore sells Reserve golf balls, Reserve pens, and Reserve keychains. Coming up next, green and white reserve toothpaste, and WRA action figures. But in addition to getting to know reserve very well, in such an intimate community, we get to know each other extremely well. Living, breathing, sleeping, and eating everything reserve together, the shared experience forges bonds of friendship that will last long after we graduate and leave this campus for new opportunities. And not just with fellow students, teachers become an integral part of the community, forming close bonds of friendship with their students. The many ways in which we have grown and benefited, the friendships and relationships we picked up along the way, and the pride which we may now feel, having completed such an arduous journey, all combine to make us stronger as we poise to leap off the cliff into the real world. It would be impossible for me to describe the reserve experience without offering our gratitude to a group of men and women who have devoted their time, effort, and their very lives to our education. The faculty at Reserve are the school's greatest and most valuable asset. The Roman statesman had it right. Cicero once asked, what nobler employment or more valuable to the state than that of the man who instructs the rising generation? The only thing I would add to that quotation would be men and women. From Mr. Bunting's calm and professional demeanor and Miss Fiedler's intense chemistry courses to Mr. Kaplan's traveling circus, also known in some circles as Calculus BC, the teachers, in all their various ways and styles, have given their very best to spark a fire in what began as very wet wood. I will always remember two things from Mr. Donnelly's English 2. His advice on varying sentence structure, whose direct effect is evident in this speech, and his getting up in class, running around the room, and flapping his arms up and down like a bird. Not just in the classroom, but all throughout the school, on the athletic fields, in the dorms, on school trips, in the dining halls, and even in their home, our teachers have given their time and energy to further our education. Not just teachers, but coaches, housemasters, advisors, mentors, and most importantly, friends. On the behalf of the class of 2002, I would like to offer my thanks to you, the faculty of Western Reserve Academy. As long as I am on the subject of thanks, I would also like to extend our appreciation to another group of people whose love and support were essential to our success. Comforting, uplifting, and always supportive, they helped us to succeed in our endeavors. No, I am not referring to the cast of Friends. To all parents out there, I would like to thank you, first of all, for sending us to Reserve, even if we had doubts at first. Now, when my parents first sent me here, they expected that I would develop into a fine, young, well-mannered gentleman, urbane and sophisticated. Unfortunately, nothing of that sort has happened. In some ways, I remain just as immature and uncouth as I was when I first set foot on this campus. Just ask Mr. Bell. I hope the rest of you parents have been satisfied with the school's influence on our lives. You obviously realized the strength of Reserve long before we did. In addition, your continued guidance and encouragement drove us to succeed and clear that last hurdle when we otherwise might have tripped. You comforted us when we were down and pushed us to take full advantage of Reserve's opportunities. Thank you all for your support. So now we reach the end of our school year and our Reserve careers. However, this is not the end, for graduation represents our transition into the world. Frantz Fanon once said, each generation must, out of relative obscurity, discover its mission, fulfill it, or betray it. With students from different states and countries, with varying interests and skills, scholars, athletes, artists, writers, musicians, and scientists, to name just a few, the class of 2002 reflects a diverse and extensive pool of talent. However, not yet having fully proven ourselves, we graduate from Reserve shrouded in relative obscurity. Our talent is merely potential, and without direction, potential is ineffective. Reserve did not teach us how to perform various tasks or accomplish certain goals. Rather, it taught us self-determination. It gave us the capability to discover our particular direction on our own initiative. Thus, as we look to the future, graduating now, keep in mind that we have yet to discover our unique mission and we have yet to fulfill it. Because I have every confidence that our generation, our graduating class, will not betray it. It has been a long 4 years, yet now looking back, it seems as if, well, to use a cliche, the time has just flown by. But I am not ashamed to use it because it is true. So while we look forward to whatever the future brings, let us celebrate now the success that we have worked so hard to achieve in the past. Thank you very much, and congratulations to the class of 2002.
We are pleased to honor today various members of the Academy's student body who will be recognized for their singular achievement. Assisting in the presentation of awards will be Mr. Howard Kaplan, our Dean of Faculty, and Ms. Marie Fiedler, Chapter President of the Cum Laude Society.
As part of the senior seminar course taken by all 12th graders, students undertake a major research project each winter, which culminates in the writing of a paper of considerable scope. The topic is the student's own choosing, and the research methods and documentation required anticipate those which will be expected of them in college. Each year, we honor those students who earn the highest grade of 7 on their senior seminar papers by announcing their names and the subjects of their papers at commencement. In addition, the senior seminar department has these papers bound and kept on permanent file in the Ong Library. From the class of 2002, we have 6 such papers. Please stand as I call your name and remain standing, and we'll hold our applause until all 6 have been named. Tom Powell, Medical Ethics and Clinical Trials. Kier Martica, The Failures of Feminism. Will Everett, How Tinseltown Will Conquer the Global Village. Jeff Jacobstein, Napoleon in Exile. Sonia Valab, Caste and Politics, The Evolution of the Indian Society. Michael Borash, How to Determine the Essence of Rap. The names of our academic book prize winners this year, those students with the grade point averages for the senior year, rank them first and second in the class, and very narrowly separate them from another of their classmates, should come as no surprise. The outcome of this award was still very much in doubt right up until the final grades were submitted to the registrar on Friday morning. In second place, with a senior year-end average of 7.379, a superb linguist, economist, scientist, and above all, a poet, Kier Martica. And in first place, with a senior year average of 7.409 3 decimal places, very important, is none other than our speaker this afternoon, an academic star of the first magnitude in all disciplines, and especially mathematics, Alan Chung.
Election to the Cum Laude Society represents the highest academic distinction that this school can grant its students. The society was founded to provide at the high school level a means of encouraging and recognizing scholarship. Its motto consists of 3 words, arete, dike, and time. These words can be literally translated as excellence, justice, and honor. They were chosen to convey the idea that the members of the society are concerned with more than the mere desire to achieve the highest grades possible, that they also have demonstrated a serious interest for the subjects they are studying and a real curiosity about all areas of learning. According to the Constitution of the Society, a chapter is permitted to elect not more than 20% of the senior class. 10% can be elected during the course of the senior year, the remaining 10% at commencement. It has been our custom to name a certain proportion of that 10% at the Fall Term Awards Assembly, and then again at the end of the winter. Would the present members of the Society please come forward and join me for the induction ceremony along with the faculty members. They are Alan Chung, Jeff Jacobstein, Andrew Lavin, Kier Mardica, Sonia Balab, and Tom Van Buren. Yesterday, the members of the Society met to select those who are to be inducted today. I will now announce the newly elected members one by one. As I read your name, please stand, and a faculty member will lead you from your seat to the podium. Suzanne Andrews. Matt McCauley. Nate Mealy. Seamus O'Rourke. Min Jung Paik. Scott Peachman. Numran Taetrong. Denise Warner. Miriam White. Robert Woodward. Before presenting you with your pins and certificates, I am required by the laws of the Society to read to you the following charge. The distinguished record you have made at school has won for you membership in the Cum Laude Society. This society is a fellowship of scholars whose purpose is to recognize excellence in academic work. As you pursue your education, it is our hope that you will accept the honor of membership in this society as a responsibility to make some contribution to man's ongoing search for greater understanding of himself and of society. In testimony of your admission to the Cum Laude Society by the authority of the Society duly granted, I now present you with these pins and certificates. We have lots of pins. Would you like to do pins? Or maybe half pins and half certificates? Here's certificates. Certificates, you guys. And these.
We'll split that half.
Want to split that in half?
Yeah.
This way, and go that way. Okay, that's not half.
There's not complete equity, that's okay.
Okay, all right. Where did I go?
I'm all over the place.
I'll take another. It's fair.
Everybody get their little pin? Yeah. Let the rest have a moment. Congratulations and thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Fiedler and Mr. Kaplan. I trust that you will join with me in congratulating Mr. Kaplan on his appointment as principal of the American Hebrew School in Greensboro, North Carolina. Mr. Kaplan has been a loyal and visible figure at Western Reserve Academy for 17 years and has earned the respect of students, faculty, and this headmaster. We wish Howard and his wife Mary Ann the very best as they enter into what will be an adventurous and rewarding time in their life. Congratulations and Godspeed. Those in the graduating class will agree that Reserve's faculty has played a major role in their young lives. Influencing our students in no small way, the faculty at Reserve is dedicated on all fronts: academic, artistic, athletic, residential, and social. We now turn to awards specifically focused upon faculty masters at the Academy. The J. Ward and Marion Keener Prize. The Keener Prize is given in honor of two individuals who were very much a part of the Academy during their lifetime. It is awarded to that member of the faculty who has served at least 1 year, but no more than 3, and recognizes that master's excellence in teaching and commitment to the quality of life and overall learning at this historic school. I'm pleased to announce there are 2 recipients of the Keener Prize for the faculty for 2002. Would they please come forward? Eric G. Dimitrov, Richard K. Hoffman. Okay. These are checks. We'll just congratulate them. And then we'll have two certificates. The Bob Weiss Award. The Weiss Award is presented to a faculty master at reserve whose dedication, academic integrity, and support of student interest in the arts, athletics, and what might be termed real life carries on the tradition established by Bob Weiss, who was a faculty member in mathematics, a superb coach, a music enthusiast, a bridge whiz, and a loyal companion to many. The award is inscribed with the name of the recipient, and this recipient holds this handsome pewter bowl for 1 year. The faculty member's name is placed on the Weiss Award plaque, which permanently hangs in Seymour Hall. The honor is given by a vote of the entire graduating class. The 2002 Bob Weiss Award winner, James D. Bunting. The awards presented hereafter have been a major part of this formal and singular ceremony for decades. Know that they are named for individuals who knew the meaning of sacrifice and dedication, and most of all, duty. These people made good on their promise to serve Western Reserve Academy with the very fiber of their being, and in doing so, served generations of students. The Joel B. Hayden Award. This award is presented to the best all-around student in the next to graduating class, considering scholarship, student activities, and leadership, with Mr. Warner, the advisor. This year's recipient, Andrew J. Hale. Okay. The John W. Hallowell Award, presented to a member of the graduating class who, in the opinion of his or her classmates and the faculty, contributed greatly to the intellectual or cultural life of the school by his or her creative ability in one or more fields of interest, especially in art, music, writing, but possibly in the fields of science and history as well. The Hallowell Award recognizes creativity and talent and the development thereof. The advisor, Mrs. Midge Karam, this year's recipient, Min Jung Pik. Number 2. Okay. Let's just check it. Okay. Switch with Andrew. The Harlan N. Wood Award. The Wood Prize is given to a senior whose work and accomplishments have been distinguished by exceptional effort and whose example has been of significant value to the academic morale of the Academy. Advisor, Mr. Eric Bell. The recipient, Andrew W. Lavin. Number 3. The Robinson Prize, offered in memory of the late R.H.M. Robinson, alumnus and longstanding member of the Board of Trustees. The Robinson Prize is awarded to that member of the senior class who in his or her career at the Academy has made the greatest progress in moral, mental, and physical development. There are 2 recipients for 2002. with advisors Ms. Sherry Callista and Mr. Howard Kaplan, Jamil L. Mays, J.J. Grieven. The Bicknell Prize. Each year at commencement, this prize is presented to that senior who has exerted the greatest influence in promoting good manners, morals, school spirit, honesty in the classroom, and leadership on the campus. The award is given in honor of the late Warren Bicknell, loyal and long-standing trustee of the Academy. Advisor, Mr. Howard Kaplan. The recipient for 2002, Elizabeth Q. Holmes. There were some awards which were unable to present yesterday because of the young men who traveled to play in a championship game. I would like to recognize them at this point. The first are Headmasters Awards. The recipient of the Headmasters Award carries on a long-standing legacy at the Academy. He neither draws attention to himself nor can be described as flamboyant. Yet he does inject his own brand of pride and unwavering pursuit of excellence, inspiring those around him to reach the same high standards. His scholarship at the Academy extends beyond his innate ability and disciplined work habits that he shares so often with others. Lest you think that this young man is a self-absorbed scholar, know that he has been described by his head coach in football as a true gentleman on the field, extremely physical and hard-hitting, but off the field you can mistake him for a poet. Perhaps these words describe better than most the balance that we strive for at this school. That same balance will be seen at Emory University in the fall. Robert Spittle McCulloch. His Spanish 3 teacher recognized this recipient's enthusiasm and sensitivity, while his United States history instructor stated that his quick wit and insightful comments contributed to a very humorous but highly effective approach to the course. In all, this recipient is the epitome of hard work and academic integrity. His impact in the community goes well beyond the classroom. An Eagle Scout, a 3-sport varsity athlete, a Green Key member, and one of 2 young men who led us at each morning meeting of the year. He's been an integral part of the Reserve family. He makes learning fun for all and has a good mind. Loyalty has been his trademark. We know that he will go on to become a superb graduate of the Academy, and we look forward to following his progress. David Paul Myers. Those at Reserve often speak of our core values: integrity, excellence, compassion. In my opinion, this is a young man who embodies this triumvir each and every day. His growth at this school is palpable. The young man that I met on the lawn of Pierce House some years ago is not the same young man who graduates today. He leads quietly by example and does not seek recognition for his actions. Comfortable with himself, his values, and his personal goals, he has earned honors grades and numerous A effort ratings. He reads voraciously and has a collection of works by the likes of Rousseau, Descartes, Locke, Freud, and Sartre. A musician, a young philosopher, an athlete, and a young man who finds meaning in his life by helping in the greater community. Evan is an exemplary citizen and a true scholar. Louis Evan Van Gorder. The Ray Kroc Award is given to a student in our community who exemplifies motivation, positive dealing with others, and integrity, which was so much a part of the lifestyle of the famed businessman Ray Kroc. His philosophy was simple. Success is the direct result of an individual's performance, persistence, determination, hard work, and personal dedication to excellence. Given these ingredients, everything is possible. The award consists of a medal, a monetary gift, both of which we hope are treasured, the latter of which we hope will be used for college. This year's recipient has been a spectacular addition to the school. He's the possessor of a wonderful mind, an immeasurable amount of dramatic talent, and a sense of perseverance that is clear to us all. With a strong sense of self, he's not been afraid to speak his mind or share his perspective, even when it goes against popular sentiment. With his wry wit and Canadian charm, his humility, combined with enthusiasm for life, Ian Watson represents the finest kind of student, one with talent and one with heart. Ian Christopher Watson. Let's see, he gets... Is that the legit? We had 6 individuals recognized yesterday as English-speaking union fellows. One was missing at that time, and we would like to recognize him at this point. Peter Thomason has received a full room, board, and tuition fellowship to attend school in the UK next year. He will attend the Giggleswick School, a school familiar to those young women on our field hockey team. They traveled there this past fall to compete. And we wish him well. Would he please come forward to receive his official certificate as a fellow? Lastly, there are 3 Tiller Awards to be presented. This award, as I mentioned yesterday, recognizes those students who, through their own determination, spirit, and goodwill, have set an example in many ways for others. In some cases, these individuals faced great challenge in their personal lives and figuratively have helped keep their hand on the tiller during rough seas. Each student will have his or her name placed on the Tiller Award plaque located in the Student Center in Seymour Hall. Each Tiller recipient receives a certificate, and with these 3 young men come forward to receive said certificate. Christopher W. Guglielmi, Matthew T. Troutman, Dylan A. Sheridan. Our graduation speaker is no stranger to the lawn's wide sweep. 40 years ago, Oliver Everett processed at graduation here at Western Reserve Academy. He was an English-speaking Union scholar. His son, Will, a member of this year's graduating class, follows in his footsteps. Oliver and his wife, Stephanie, are long-standing friends of this school. Prior to coming to Reserve, our speaker was a student at the Felsted School in England. He went on to Cambridge University and then eventually earned a master's degree in international relations from the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at Tufts. Postgraduate research in international relations took place at the London School of Economics. From 1967 to 1981, Mr. Everett served in Her Majesty's diplomatic service. He's been the first secretary in New Delhi, India, the head of the Chancery for the British Embassy in Madrid, and more recently the private secretary for His Royal Highness Charles, the Prince of Wales, and Diana, the Princess of Wales. He has only recently stepped down as librarian at Windsor Castle and the keeper of the Queen's Archives. He held that post since 1985. His love of books and the arts is rivaled only by his energetic loyalty to the American sport of baseball. Singular indeed for one who comes from the land where cricket is preeminent. I welcome to the podium my friend and our graduate, Oliver Everett.
Thank you very much indeed. I didn't ask Skip if I could call him Skip or Dr. Flanagan, but I'm sure you'll know who I'm referring to. Very much thanks to him for asking me to talk to you today. It is, as you can well imagine, a great pleasure for me to do this, coming back after 40 years and also addressing, probably to his embarrassment, my son Will. But hold on to it, Will, and I hope it's all right. I wasn't actually, my card, as it were, was not marked by Skip as to what I should say, but I did get some advice fairly soon after my arrival here, because I ran into, as it were, Stretch, who I hadn't seen for some time, and it was really nice to see Stretch, and he said, "Great to see you." And before he said anything else, he said, "Make it short and make it funny." So I'm under instructions. I also got a bit of a tip from Seamus O'Rourke when he was speaking yesterday, because he referred to people on graduation who might have the inclination to bore people with the good old days. Well, I hope I won't do too much of that, Seamus. Anyway, thank you for your advice. When I began to think of what I might say, the obvious thing to do was to think what it was like for me when I was sitting exactly where you are. And I hope that, like I did, you've greatly enjoyed the past year, as I did, and also, as I did, that you've made some close friends who will last a long time. As you probably know, and I think you do know, because again, Seamus and indeed the headmaster referred to it yesterday, that in my view, friends and friendship rank extremely high in what my, not friend, but star, Peter Sellers, once referred to as life's rich pageant. That's really important, and indeed, for me, I've kept 4 very close friends who were my classmates from 1962. And I'm glad to say that one of them is here today, and the other 3 are going to be here next weekend during our 40th alumni reunion. I also hope at this point, like I was, that you are very excited by the prospect of the next phase in your lives. I know that most of you, in fact I think probably all of you, are going on to colleges. In England, the proportion of secondary school students who go to university is far less than here. But one thing, in fact, that we do in England is that of those who are going to university, quite a large proportion of them take what's called a gap year. You may have heard of this. It's a year between secondary school and university when students travel the world or take a job or generally have a break from academic life. It's rather subversive of me, I suppose, to say that this, I think, is very important, because I think very few students here take that gap year, and I'm not saying that you all should now apply for one, but the importance of it, perhaps you'll catch up on it on later life or ask for a gap year when you've graduated from college, but the importance to me about it is that it enables one to get a perspective on, particularly if you manage to travel, and I would highly advocate that, to understand and appreciate the beliefs and cultures of others, which I reckon in this period of the world's development is extremely important. So perhaps travel later on, if not now. I also wondered, when I was thinking what to say, is how you will react to the realities of college life. And I wondered if, from my own reactions to it, there might be a few tips that I could pass on, or at least one. And I thought I might make a comment or two on the nature of ambition, of achievement, and of self-assessment. In my experience, teachers and parents, and especially graduation speakers, are inclined to be full of enthusiastic and usually very well justified praise of your excellent work, achievements, and abilities. But it's also my experience that the most severe and realistic judges of your abilities are you yourselves. And this brings me to the important subject of self-confidence. One is told that it's very important to have it. Unfortunately, one can't get it just by being told by a biased judge that you deserve to have it. When I got to Cambridge University a few years ago, i.e. in 1962, I thought that I must be pretty good because I got a place there, and all of you have got places at excellent colleges. I have to admit, however, that quite a lot of the next 3 years, 3 years for me, 4 years for you, was spent in realizing more and more how little I knew, how much more a lot of other people knew, and how could one ever know enough about the vast amount there was to know. Therefore, while in no way wishing to discourage you, I thought it might be worth mentioning a small warning that at the end of the first term or semester you might, like me, actually feel a bit discouraged. In retrospect, I found that the best antidote to this was not, in the long run, the several pints of beer that I was tempted to drink when I felt this, although I think actually your drinking age would preclude you from this anyway, but I'm sure you might know what I mean. But instead, I think the solution was a brief consideration of ambition. And I reckon that one of the keys is that one should set oneself realistic and not overambitious targets. One of my diplomatic service classmates, who joined the service in 1967 with me, he subsequently left the diplomatic service, as did I. He went into politics, and I went into sort of royals, or something like that. And he, when I met him, had become a member of parliament, i.e. a congressman in your terms. And I thought this was great. It's a very high achievement to become a member of parliament in Britain. And I congratulated him. And he was very dismissive. He said, oh, no, really, it's not that big an achievement. Once you become a member of parliament, you actually then want to become a junior minister. And actually, when you become a junior minister in the government, you want to become a senior minister in the government. And actually, when you become a senior minister in the government, you actually want to become prime minister. And this rather depressed me, because it was quite clear that for the rest of his life, he was going to be a sort of a man who was a bit depressed and a bit sort of having thwarted ambition. And so I thought, you know, take it easy. And I sort of said, you know, don't expect too much of yourself. He's actually now, he is an opposition cabinet minister, what we call a shadow minister for Northern Ireland. So he's doing well, but I just don't think that he's been a happy bunny throughout. And I would advise you not to sort of have an over-ambitious target. I would really like to advise you to realise that, as in the parable of the talents in the Bible, that everyone can make a contribution in their own way, and that all those contributions are worthwhile. And following on from that, I think that one of my most important sort of maxims or attitudes for life is summed up in the simple words, the glass is half full. And I'm not now referring again to the drinking laws in the States and in Britain. In fact, my former staff at the Royal Library and Royal Archives at Windsor got thoroughly fed up with me referring to this trite platitude, but I do recommend it in terms of what it really means. By which I think it means that you should always try to be more conscious of what you have and what you are capable of than of what you haven't got or are not capable of. After all, as I'm sure some of you know, a batting average of over 300 is great. And even that, but that means that for 2/3 of the time, as in my reckoning, you're seen or seeming to fail. But don't worry, just if you bat over 300, you're doing well. Queen Elizabeth II, my erstwhile employer, had a very good comment on this in one of her speeches. And she said, I quote, "Although we rightly praise the heroes, behind them stand ranks and ranks of unknown and unnamed men and women who are rendering invaluable and valiant service. In fact, you in the United States are known to be far better at positive thinking than we are in England. We're pretty good, actually, at thinking of why something might not be possible. But one of our prime ministers, you may have heard of, Mrs. Thatcher. Actually, I have to be very careful here because I have a wife who is not a great fan of Mrs. Thatcher's, but if I could ask her indulgence for just a second to refer to Mrs. Thatcher. She actually did take a leaf out of your American book on this question. And one of our political commentators said about her that, quotes, "She radiated a sense of possibility, she always believed that something could be done, and she was determined to see that it was done." He went on to say that this can-do attitude, as the Americans call it, is perhaps her greatest legacy. So I think that is a good comment on attitude towards things. I remember a speech day at my own English school in 1960. The speaker was a famous World War II soldier, Field Marshal Lord Montgomery. You might have heard of him, usually known as Monty. Actually, he was often known as something rather ruder because he was a pretty arrogant guy and people didn't like him a lot. I'd expect General Eisenhower thought of him a little bit in terms of awkwardness rather than flattery. He was self-confident, but he was self-confident to the point of arrogance. And there's one of my favourite stories to illustrate his arrogance was when the British Prime Minister, Winston Churchill, during the war, had just had a meeting with Monty, and Monty had been incredibly arrogant and made Winston Churchill extremely angry. And each week, the Prime Minister, Churchill, had to go and see King George VI at Buckingham Palace. And he went along to see the King, and he was still really angry about Monty's attitude. And he couldn't resist telling the King that Monty was insufferable. And indeed, he, Churchill, actually thought that Monty wanted to take over his job as Prime Minister. To which the King said, "Oh, I'm extremely glad to hear that. I actually thought he wanted to take over mine." So there's an example of arrogance. Actually, if I can, I don't know if Skip will allow me a time out here, but one of my favourite stories about King George VI was when he was on tour in South Africa in 1947, and he got around the country by train, a royal train, so that overnight they could travel and then they could stop sort of early in the morning, and so that they could get ready for the ensuing day by washing up and getting ready at a small side station. And this happened, and suddenly the King leapt out of the train onto the platform where there was an official who was seeing that everything was all right, and clearly King George VI was in an extremely bad mood. And he shouted down the platform at this poor official, "What on earth's the point of being a king if you can't get hot water?" That I thought was just a wonderful sort of petulant, sort of kingly remark about what you should be able to get if you're king. Anyway, where was I? Yes, I was with Monty visiting my school, and I can't actually, I'm afraid to say, remember anything that he said, probably exactly like yourselves at this moment, and what it would be like in a few years' time. But I'll try to leave you with a few one-liners to remember. But anyway, the lesson from Monty, I think, is that self-confidence without arrogance is preferable. But I do remember something which, again, Queen Elizabeth II told to my generation of youths in 1961. I'm not sure how well we've achieved that, but I think the advice is still valid. She said, and I quote, "It is natural that the younger generation should lose patience with their elders for their seeming failure to bring some order and security in the world. But things will not get any better if young people merely express themselves by indifference or by revulsion against what they regard as an out-of-date order of things." She finished by saying, "The world desperately needs your vigour, your determination, and your service to your fellow man." This, I don't know if any of you saw What's New Pussycat, the Woody Allen film. Halfway through it, when there was a very earnest and worthy sort of expression, there was a little bleep at the side saying moral, moral, moral. In other words, this is the key. I think that phrase is pretty key to what your approach should be. And the mention and order and security in the world, and what sort of future you are facing compared with what I did 40 years ago, prompts me to refer to the disaster in New York on the 11th of September last year. I speak with some feeling about this because at that precise time I was in an American Airlines plane 2 hours out of New York. I was due to lecture in New York on the 12th of September, and when we were 2 hours out of New York, our captain said that we were being diverted to Gander, where we actually stayed for the next 4 days and watched how things were going from there. So I feel sort of rather more close to it than I would have been if I were sitting in England. I wish I could be more optimistic about the prospects of rooting out international terrorism and religious extremism from which that terrorism often seems to stem. But perhaps the main point for us is the importance of international cooperation in countering such activities. This brings me back, in fact, to my opening point of the importance of understanding better the beliefs of other people. I'm afraid that another World War II military leader, one for whom I have a great respect, it was not very optimistic about this either. Field Marshal Lord Allenbrook was chief of the Imperial General Staff from 1941 to 1945, i.e. our most senior soldier, and much more senior than Monty, by the way. At the end of World War II, in 1945, Allenbrook wrote in his diary, and I quote, "The suffering and agony of war, in my mind, must exist to gradually educate us." I wouldn't have split an infinitive there. I don't know what your English tutors... Anyway, he did split it to gradually educate us to the fundamental law of loving our neighbours as ourselves. When that lesson has been learnt, then war will cease to exist. And then he goes on, I'm afraid rather pessimistically, "We are, however, many centuries from such a state of affairs. Many more wars and much suffering is required before we finally learn our lesson. For the present," and here's another bleeped moral for you, "for the present we can do no more than go on striving to improve friendly relations towards those who surround us." So, in conclusion, I might leave you with a reminder of the things that I think are really important with which to face the future. Friendship, number one. Travel, the understanding and tolerance of other people and their cultures and beliefs. Self-confidence without arrogance, and having a positive attitude, i.e. the glass is half full. In fact, I've forgotten 4 what I might call side orders, if I'm allowed a few side orders just at the end. And those are, again, vital for me. The first one is laughter. I don't know about you, but I always keep a book of Gary Larson cartoons in my desk. He is somebody who appeals to me hugely, and I sometimes send one in the post to Will throughout the year just to sort of keep him focused. Also, Woody Allen and Walter Matthau and Rowan Atkinson are three of my stars, and I'm sure some of you might know them. Walter Matthau, I'm afraid, yes, but they are brilliant. The second is good music. The third are good films, movies. And the fourth, I suppose I should add good books, since I'm meant to be a librarian. Anyway, I do recommend those four. I'm sure you use them a lot anyway. But most important of all, I want to obviously wish you all the very best for the future. And I want to thank Western Reserve Academy for all they gave to me in 1961-62, which has lasted me so well. Getting to see Stretch was brilliant, and also Bob Price I saw, which is excellent. And also, I must just mention, as it were, one of my pin-ups from that period, who was Bucky Harris. Bucky Harris taught me English, and more important, he taught me baseball. And my father almost cut me off without a penny when I came back to England and never played cricket again. And baseball has remained my passion. And in fact, I'm not sure if any of you have got the radio on, but I hope the White Sox are not winning. They hadn't scored when I checked just now. Anyway, we're going to think, I'd like you to think about the influence of your masters or your teachers. It's been mentioned before, and Bucky Harris was certainly most important in my life, and really Skip Flanagan has taken over from Bucky in being a great inspiration of energy and motivation. And also, I'd like to end by really, I think the most important thing of all is hoping that the Indians retrieve their form from the beginning of the season and come out in top in the World Series. Thank you very much.
Our thanks, Oliver, and welcome home to a place familiar to you, both in mind and heart. Thank you very much. Mr. H. Arthur Bellows, Jr., President of our Board of Trustees, assisted by Senior Faculty Master Jim Frazier and Dean of Faculty Mr. Howard Kaplan, will now present the diplomas as well as the alumni tie or pennant to the class of 2002. As has been our custom, those alumni and faculty members of the Academy who have students in the graduating class while we present the diplomas may help and assist. Therefore, it would be appreciated if you would step forward at the appropriate time to formally offer a diploma to your graduate. The class of 2002. Mark William Abel, Bostontown, Ohio. Chase Merrick Aiken, Hudson, Ohio. Virginia Ann Aiken, Hudson, Ohio. Lena Al Khalifa, Bryan, Ohio. Harish Amirtha Lingam, Warren, Ohio. Kyle Jonathan Anderson, Rutland, Vermont. Suzanne Julie Andrews, Youngstown, Ohio. Crystal Frances Antonace, Hudson, Ohio. Nathan Barr Arnberger, Barrington, Illinois. Christopher Montague Herman, Bracknell, Ohio. Raymond Donald Ashman IV, Akron, Ohio. Catherine Mackenzie Bear, Kent, Ohio. William Frederick Becker, Hudson, Ohio. Nicholas Steen Bentley, North Canton, Ohio. Lauren Elizabeth Bishop, Canton, Ohio. Timothy Michael Blakely, Hudson, Ohio. Michael David Borash, Lake Forest, Illinois. Ashley Ann Bourne, Hudson, Ohio. Laura Jean Bowman, Upper Sandusky, Ohio. John Benton Buffett, Hudson, Ohio. David Warren Birch, Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Jung Yoon Byun, Seoul, Republic of Korea. Christopher Matthew Cariello, Hudson, Ohio. Andrew Omar Chan, Dhahran, Saudi Arabia. Justin Wu Chen, Chillicothe, Ohio. Alan Chung, Princeton, New Jersey. Jae Hoon Chung, Taegu, Republic of Korea. Catherine Blair Cobb, Midlothian, Virginia. Brian Edward Cochran, Hudson, Ohio. Catherine Elizabeth Cochran, Titusville, Pennsylvania. Yvonne Christina Colbank, Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Patricia Mary Cooper, Sligo, Ireland. Jessica Christine Dianza, Santa Cruz, California. Gina Marie DePiro, Sagamore Hills, Ohio. Ryan Wesley Doe, Hudson, Ohio. Brenna Darrow Elliott, Stowe, Ohio. William Giles Everett, Berkshire, England. Elizabeth Ann Fairman, Hudson, Ohio. Alexandra Philippa Fry, St. Martin, French West Indies. Omar Bader Gumrawi, Kent, Ohio. Justin Thomas Gibson, Stowe, Ohio. Emily Christine Gillig, Hudson, Ohio. Dandridge David Giltz, Jr., Kent, Ohio. Jack Carter Godshall, Medina, Ohio. Aaron McWilliams Graham, Euclid, Ohio. Christopher William Guglielmi, Findlay, Ohio. James Michael Hilt, Worcester, Ohio. Andrew William Lavin, Wadsworth, Ohio. Elizabeth Quirk Holmes, Cleveland, Ohio. Junghyuk Jae Hong, Seoul, Republic of Korea. Kristen Marie Hoover, Hudson, Ohio. Jeremy Michael Hughes, North Ridgeville, Ohio. David Stephen Huth, Suffield, Ohio. Jeffrey Matthew Jacobstein, Hudson, Ohio. Catherine Juniper Kelly, Canton, Ohio. Mackenzie Lee Kaiser, Hudson, Ohio. Brandon Christopher Knight, Troy, Michigan. Anthony Jordan Kreitzer, Englewood, Colorado. Christopher Hall Kurzel, Hudson, Ohio. Jennifer Chihua Lamb, Bath, Ohio. Lise Karina Larson, Reykjavik, Norway. Matthew Thad Lowell, Hudson, Ohio. Brian Forrest Lee, Hudson, Ohio. Yoon So Lee, Seoul, Republic of Korea. Do-Yun Christina Lee, Seoul, Republic of Korea. Sengyu Lim, Seoul, Republic of Korea. Jonathan Andrew Lux, Hudson, Ohio. Zara Mithi Malik, Tehran, Saudi Arabia. Kier Vivian Martica, Hudson, Ohio. Erica Erie Matsumoto, Carmel, Indiana. Jamil Letitia Mays, Cleveland, Ohio. Matthew Yeager McCauley, Akron, Ohio. Seamus Edmund O'Rourke, Hudson, Ohio. Elena Lene McClanahan, Cleveland, Ohio. Robert Spittle McCulloch IV, Salem, Ohio. Let somebody go. Jason Kyle McMains, Akron, Ohio. Philip Michael McManus, Hudson, Ohio. Robert Austin McNerney, Northfield, Ohio. Megan Nicole McNiff, Rochester, New York. Nathan Robert Mealy, Hudson, Ohio. Adnan Fidel McKeevy, Kent, Ohio. Andrew Bart Berger Miller, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. David Paul Myers, Kent, Ohio. Maya Nilovar, Urbana, Ohio. Erica Lynn Oswick, Aurora, Ohio. Are you ready for this one? Amatunde Oludamilola Ulumeawa Oyedarin, McLean, Virginia. Minjung Paik, Seoul, Republic of Korea. Lauren Kate Bissell, Hudson, Ohio. Scott Frederick Peachman, Brookfield, Ohio. Belisade Daniel Pipiton, Hudson, Ohio. Benjamin Edgar Polk, West Hartford, Connecticut. Thomas Owen Powell, Hudson, Ohio. Catherine Helen Pugh, Surrey, England. Jacob Joseph Reven, Canton, Ohio. Adam Thomas Raymond, Akron, Ohio. Christine Marie Rodolfi, Hudson, Ohio. Brendan Paul Robinson, Grand Ledge, Michigan. Catherine Lindsay Sherbel, Chagrin Falls, Ohio. Betsy Kate Rose Schwartzbach, Hudson, Ohio. Eric William Sedlak, Hudson, Ohio. Dylan Alexander Sheridan, Carlsbad, California. Elizabeth Ann Sherwood, Aurora, Ohio. Jason Todd Simon, Massillon, Ohio. Sandy Ann Semino, Dhahran, Saudi Arabia. Taylor Branham Reed Stone, Canton, Ohio. Mary Edna Teague, Baltimore, Maryland. Numbrin Tyatrong, Nonthaburi, Thailand. Peter James Thomason, Port Moody, British Columbia, Canada. Matthew Timothy Troutman, Hudson, Ohio. David Andrew Trelevin, Hudson, Ohio. Roger Tsai, Taipei, Republic of China. Alexander Vasova Jones, Paris, France. Sonia Valab, Hermitage, Pennsylvania. Louis Evan Van Gorder, Fairview, Pennsylvania. Thomas Allen Van Buren, Hudson, Ohio. Charles Watts Wacker, Westport, Connecticut. Denise Marie Warner, Hudson, Ohio. Ian Christopher Watson, Sydney, British Columbia, Canada. Rachel Shira Weingrad, Miami, Florida. Jonathan Cross Wendell, Hudson, Ohio. Miriam Emmeth White, Chelsea, Michigan. Scott Andrew Williams, Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Richard D. Forrest Wilson, Stallstown, Pennsylvania. Scott James Wolfe, Barberton, Ohio. Kathleen Ann Wood, Richfield, Ohio. Robert Lee Woodward, Jr., Gallipolis, Ohio. Mary Catherine Watts, Hudson, Ohio. Would you now be upstanding and join me in congratulating the Upper Sixth Form, the graduating class of Western Reserve Academy. Please be seated. In the brief time which remains, I wish to offer a few parting words to those young men and women seated before me, clad in green and white. This will be my last opportunity to share some thoughts with you, and I would be remiss if I did not take these few moments to tell you how strongly I feel about each and every one of you. I like to do so by turning to the words of a very close friend, the previous dean at Amherst College, and a colleague who departed this life far before his time. These words I wish to share with you. I hope you will take them for what they are. Wishes on this headmaster's part for you and for your life. And so to the class of 2002. I wish you courage to be warm when the world would prefer that you be cool. I wish you success sufficient to your needs. I wish you failure to temper that success. I wish you joy in all your days. I wish you sadness so that you might better measure joy. I wish you gladness to overbalance grief. I wish you humor and a twinkle in your eye. I wish you glory and the strength to bear glory's burdens. I wish you sunshine on your path and storms to season your journey through life. I wish you peace in the world in which you live and in the smallest corner of the heart where truth is kept. I wish you faith to help define your living and help make clear your life. More I cannot wish you, except perhaps love, to make all the rest worthwhile. Would you now stand and join with me in the singing of Now Thank We All Our God in your programs? Please be seated. I would request that those in the audience remain seated following the benediction by Mr. Breaker until all of the graduating class and the full faculty has recessed. The class of 2002 will gather at the base of the flagpole and sing the alma mater one more time. When that alma mater is being sung, with those in the audience, please rise. I thank you. And now for the benediction, Mr. Breaker.
Now you guys got Russ and my wife yesterday, and now you get me today. Whether it's the Three Musketeers or Curly and Moe and Larry, I'll let you decide, okay? But I'm happy to have this chance. It's been my privilege to offer the final prayer and benediction at several of these events. Today's is truly unique. Now you may suspect that it's because today we say our formal farewell to my dearest friend, Russ. But other very dear friends and legendary colleagues have retired or departed on other days which were also special and bittersweet like this one. From my fellow Latinist Stretch, whom you heard about from our speaker today, to the soccer gurus Raleigh, Hoagie, Deese, Mac. You seniors will remember Mac. You're the last group that will. Might want to think about that. But what makes you guys genuinely unique is that together we experienced the events of 9/11. And none of us will ever quite be the same, or will ever forget that morning. Where we were, what class we were in when we heard, with whom we ran to watch the TV. I say that because I've never forgotten where I was on that November afternoon in 1963 when President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And it was one of those events which shape your life. You'll never forget it. And the same was true with Martin Luther King, and the same was true with Bobby Kennedy, and when we first started to drop bombs in the Middle East, et cetera, et cetera. So this is something which really makes us together, faculty, school community, kids, truly extraordinary. And I think that is why those Latin words, I have to get this in, of course, that's why those Latin words which are on your precious diplomas, I think, are especially meaningful for you this year. You may not even have looked at them yet. They read, Alienus advenisti, abis proprius noster, which means you came belonging to somebody else, and you leave uniquely one of us. So I think that this year, in an unusual way, we are indeed part of one another. And as I've been pondering these matters these past few days, I decided that the words of an ancient prayer which kept coming to my mind were the ones that I would like to share with you as your final graduation prayer this year. So please join with me and St. Francis of Assisi. Lord, make us instruments of peace. Where there is hatred, let us sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is sadness, joy. Where there is darkness, light. Grant that we may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, not so much to be understood as to understand, and not so much to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born again to eternal life. Amen. The benediction was written by South African Alan Paton, another intimately familiar with injustice, suffering, and tragedy, though to be sure in a different country and in a different age. He wrote, "May your eyes be opened to see the needs of others. May your ears be opened to hear the cries of others. May your hearts be opened so others will not lack assistance. May you not be afraid to defend the weak because of the anger of the strong, nor afraid to defend the poor because of the anger of the rich. May you be shown where love and hope and faith are needed and may you be used to bring those to those very places. And may your eyes and your ears so be opened that you may each day and every day be able to do some work of peace. Amen.
As I mentioned on Monday, this will be for your class the final time that we gather together and sing this historic alma mater. Make it a meaningful time. Miss Karen. For the graduating class, the class of 2002, 3 cheers. Hip, hip.